It's my honor today to introduce Cynthia Curry. She's from the Metro Atlanta Chamber. Metro Atlanta, believe it or not, has become a technology hub offering a world-class collaborative ecosystem of big brands, digital media leaders, technology powerhouses, world-renowned universities, like the one we're at right now, and a dynamic startup community that results in unsurpassed location to drive mobile innovation on a broad scale. The Metro Atlanta Chamber is focused on driving key industry factors like IoT and smart cities to position Metro Atlanta as a global hub for mobile technology with an extraordinary depth of energy around IoT. Cynthia Curry of the Metro Atlanta Chamber will be coming up very shortly to share her role and talk a little bit more about herself as the Director of IoT within the Metro Chamber. Cynthia?
You. So it's IoT ecosystem expansion. So there's a big difference with that. Just because I'm not a technology person, but I'm a collaborator and a kind of enabler. So my name is Cynthia Curry, and I work with the Metro Atlanta Chamber. I'm not sure how much of you are familiar with the organization. We cover and support 29 Metro Atlanta counties in the area. And what ecosystem expansion means, we have a group within the economic development team that really works to nurture and support and drive specific clusters that help drive the economy forward in Metro Atlanta. So mine's IoT and mobile. I feel like I got the dream job, mother lode, and I'm able to help expand Atlanta's presence in the IoT area, help us create a smart city of the future. Our other three areas are technology, and that covers cybersecurity, fintech, digital media, film now as well. And then we also have an ecosystem expansion team that covers health IT. And then we have one that covers supply chain and digital supply chain. So my world is IoT and smart cities. And what we do is kind of help make sure that those companies within those areas thrive and prosper. So we used to have a mobility team, and it's funny when I say mobility, I mean mobile technology, and in this room it means automation and transportation technology, I know. So we transferred our mobile team over to IoT about a year and a half ago, and I was brought in to help do that effort and help kind of make that a success. So we formed a group, IoT.ATL, and the whole goal of IoT.ATL is to help Atlanta and Metro Atlanta become a global leader in IoT innovation and make sure that we're a smart city of the future. So everything I do kind of revolves around those goals. So we do a lot of things, everything from getting to know the companies in that space and making sure that we know what they do and how they operate and introduce them to clients that they might partner with. We do a lot of work with kind of matchmaking of companies that have solutions with other companies that are having that problem and kind of help bring those together. We do a lot of work traveling to different conferences around the country and around the globe, talking about what's happening in Metro Atlanta in that area and how some of the innovation that's happening in the city. We help take the companies and the work that's happening in Atlanta and evangelize it to both Atlanta and outside the city, just to help make sure that people know what's happening here. Atlanta is, it's funny that he said, believe it or not, it's becoming a tech hub, because it is a giant, a giant tech hub, but no one really knows what we're doing. Bite your tongue on that. So it's a real pleasure to help make sure that I get to evangelize the message of what's happening in Atlanta and all the innovation that we have going on here. So IoT.ATL, we have a couple of parts. We have an executive committee that helps set the strategy for what we do and kind of help us determine how we're going to go about making a presence. It's made up of a lot of different people within the ecosystem, and our objectives are to really promote Metro Atlanta's strengths as an IoT powerhouse, recruit talent and drive economic development in the region. Again and again, talent acquisition is the most challenging problem that most of the companies that we talk to have. It's really hard to find good talent, it's really hard to keep good talent, and it's just a prevalent challenge, not only in Atlanta but nationwide. So in order to help facilitate the growth that we need and the workforce that we need as we move forward, it's definitely important that we help spread the message of what's happening here so that people say, oh, I want to move to Atlanta. So we do that in a lot of different ways. We have a group in Atlanta called Choose ATL that really targets the students that are coming right out of school and helps bring the millennials to Atlanta. And we have After Hours, which kind of targets the professionals, the young professionals that are here, and kind of make sure that they stay here. So lots of different pieces of the puzzle to help make sure that we recruit and retain attractive talent to help fuel the companies in the future. So, and then we drive partnerships and collaboration and engagement, both in IoT.ATL and the Smart Cities community. So that goes a little bit back to what I was talking about. We have 4 groups within IoT.ATL that kind of do the boots on the ground. We have a leadership council that implements the strategy of the executive committee. And we all do our different areas of work. So we have a promote group that kind of evangelizes and tells the story of innovation that's happening in Atlanta. We have a skilled workforce group that focuses on making sure that we have the talent here and kind of STEM programs and things like that, and creative ways to make sure that people are upskilled and uptrained and things like that. We have a Grow and Innovate group, which is that matchmaking group that I was talking about that matches up the startup community with the enterprise community and increases the cash flow from one to the other. And that really encourages the growth of those startup companies and helps solve a lot of the problems that the enterprise companies have. And it is a big incentive for other startup companies to come and anchor in Atlanta. And then we have Promote, which talks about everything and kind of glorifies it all. So, we are not an island. One thing that we try to make sure we do is bring in all the keys to the pieces of the puzzle that make this work. So, you know, IoT innovation and smart cities innovation is not at all just formed by corporations and companies. It takes the civic leaders, it takes municipalities and cities, it takes a lot of different people to make sure that all of the viewpoints are acknowledged and heard and addressed as we move forward with our planning. So on the executive committee, we have representatives from all those different areas. We have executives from large companies. It's chaired by Mike Zito, who's the president of AT&T. Jim Fowler, who's CIO of GE, is our co-chair. Cameron Clayton, who runs IBM Watson, is our co-chair. And then Jim Bailey, who runs Accenture Mobility, is another co-chair. And then on the committee, the executive committee, we also have representatives from the city. We have representatives from Georgia Tech. President Peterson is on it. Deborah Lamb is on it, for those of you that know her. She's brilliant. I love her. And then we have civic leaders. So it really, and then we have startup companies. So it's a way for everyone's voice to be heard and for everyone's viewpoint to be evaluated as we kind of make this forge forward and try to make sure that people know what's happening in Atlanta and we create a strong, vibrant, smart city here. Another key is that public and private collaboration is prevalent and successful. Those of you who are familiar with the smart corridor that's happening in Atlanta, it's almost all fueled by PPPs, or public-private partnerships, and that's something that's really, really key as we move forward, because those partnerships really allow projects to move forward at a rapid pace. They allow the companies that are participating in them to advance their innovation and learn more as they're going through it, and it really allows that not to fall just on the shoulders of a city or municipality, which can be really challenging. So those public and private collaborations are hugely, hugely beneficial and really vital to the success of the projects. We also unite startups and investment communities, like we talked about before, and then open access. So trying to make sure that things that we do encourage open data portals so that people can plug in and plug APIs in, and those companies can move here and start companies based on the data lakes and data rivers that are being formed from the data that's collected. So that's something that's really important to us and that we try to encourage as we move through the process. And on the projects that we start, that's something that we really, really look forward to and make sure that exists. So this goes back to the key stakeholders. We've got business leaders, lots of city and state government officials, higher education and research, nonprofits, and then various economic development organizations. Some examples of some things that we're going to do this year. We're just finalizing the plans on it, but I'm very excited that we're going to launch for lack of a better word, an IoT playground or sandbox. And we have partnered with the Beltline to do this. So we're going to be launching a series of kind of play areas where people can, or companies can come and test out their IoT innovation. They can help test technology that they have, test sensors that they have. We're going to run it within about 6 or 7 months at a time, and each span will focus on one specific topic. So transportation will probably be one of the first ones because it's on the top of everybody's mind. Sustainability is on the list. So different things that will allow us to find creative solutions and really innovate around these particular topics. So I'm really excited to get that started. It'll probably launch in the fall. We literally just finalized the partnership, or got the go-ahead on the partnership from Brian McGowan this week. So we'll be making the plans as we move forward on that. So this room, y'all probably know most about what's happening in the world, and especially in intelligent transportation, since that's what you do. But IoT is about to change everything. I mean, it's definitely going to make a huge impact on the world that we live in, and it's going to really change the way that things work moving forward. And that's another thing that we're really focused on in our group. We want to, a lot of people outside this room don't know what IoT is, they don't know how it would help them, they don't know, it makes them a little nervous. So one of the main things that we're doing with this upcoming year is kind of communicating the value of how those things work to the community. So the playgrounds will, one of the main purposes will be kind of highlighting how these things can impact their lives in a really positive way. So that's the main topic, or the main focus of our projects moving forward, are making sure that we connect with the community and that we show them that this isn't a big brother thing, that we are trying to change lives and for the better, and make the community a really better, stronger place. So IoT definitely is going to be changing the world. So bringing intelligence to all the things around us, but really it's in the insight, right? So you can have all the data in the world, but if you don't have the insight that comes from it, it's not valuable and it can't really be leveraged. So that's one of the things that we're trying to focus on, is to get as much data together as possible and get as many people to combine the data that they have together so that more insight can come of that, and the city can become smarter as a whole, or Metro Atlanta can become smarter as a whole. So as we move forward with machine learning and AI, I think that those open data platforms will end up doing things that we never really envisioned. So transportation, I mean, there's so many different areas that IoT is going to be changing the life. Healthcare is one. Transportation is definitely one of the biggest ones. And I like the ways that it's going to kind of help. I mean, Steve's cartoon was funny. We think of being frustrated by commute as a new thing, but it's always been the case. And it would be great if we would be able to solve that problem, because I think that's one of the biggest challenges in Atlanta. And if we can do that, then there will be a lot of lives saved and a lot less accidents out there. So it's projected that internet-connected cars will reduce traffic accidents by 350,000 every year by 2025 and save 11,000 lives. So I love that. And that's really at the bulk of what we're doing, is trying to make sure that the things that we do add value to the community and that they really help us live better lives. So in 2020, 90% of the cars will be connected to the internet. It's all just a matter of how we do it and what we do once they are. And then by 2020, 75% of the cars will be built in with IoT connectivity. So a lot of y'all might know this. Atlanta is doing a lot of work in the smart city realm. Samir, who just went to New York, really set us up in a really, really great way. He's really provided a strong foundation for us to move forward from. And these are just some of the examples of kind of what they did. And those of you from the city of Atlanta, hop in if these aren't right on. But he really focused on 4 pillars and made sure that things weren't done just because they were cool, that they were done and they had a purpose, which has really, really helped form a strong foundation moving forward. So transportation and mobility, public safety, environmental sustainability, and operational efficiency were the things that all the smart cities projects revolve around. So they use the data in various ways. I mean, they take it and look at what's happening, and then they take it and kind of explain why it happened, and then they take the data and analyze it and pull the inside out to talk about what could happen. And then the ultimate goal, which isn't quite happening yet, is the prescriptive, to kind of make sure that we're able to recommend courses of action that will be the best moving forward in the future. So again, partnerships and collaboration are key. I would say, I think there's probably, 90 smart cities projects happening in Atlanta, and a lot of them are public-private partnerships, and that really is a huge key to success. So the Smart Corridor, which is on the North Avenue, was chosen. It's one of the 5 cities for the Together for Safer Roads Challenge. Video, and these are just some examples. There's no way I could put all 90, so I just have a few that are kind of highlights. With video and acoustic sensors to provide crashes and predict collision risk levels, things like that. Then we have the intelligent traffic signals. It's done a great job of traffic signal coordination based on what's actually happening instead of a routine or set time. And then they use real-time vehicle counts, and they take all that data and fold it in. And then it's autonomous vehicles testbed as well, which is really exciting to me. I love that. We'll see how that goes moving forward. A lot of the benefits that we've had from it, it's reducing the energy uses, it's reducing commute time, it's making our world a better place and kind of helping us have a more sustainable environment and a more sustainable city. It's saved millions of dollars and a lot more as we move forward. Traffic delays have been reduced up to 25% in that area during peak times. It's decreased our carbon footprint, and it increases emergency services efficiency so they can get to the people that are having trouble earlier. And then after large traffic events, we've had up to 50% efficiency with that. It can detect road obstacles and get those out of the way quickly, and then increase parking efficiency and parking violation detection, which of course increases the revenue for the city. So these are just some examples of how the intelligent transportation has helped Atlanta. These are some things that we have going on moving forward. The Ray is super cool stretch of highway kind of near Gainesville that is kind of setting the groundwork for evolving ideas and technologies that are going to kind of transport the future. So they have solar-powered, really high-speed electronic vehicle charging. I think you can charge your vehicle in their solar-powered stations in like 20 minutes. They're working on having intelligent pavement and things like that. Their goal by 2020 is to have 0 deaths, 0 waste, and 0 impact. So this is kind of what we're doing on the Beltline. It's kind of a playground or a testing area to test a bunch of different technologies that will help leverage the IoT and smart cities technologies to take highways and instead of making them a liability, help make them an asset. So I think this is something, and these are not chamber-led initiatives, these are just things that are happening that we're supporting and that we are excited about. So we were just chosen for Transportation for America's Smart Cities Collaborative. There's 22 communities that were chosen for that. This is the 2nd year that they're doing it. Atlanta was not chosen last year, so I'm very excited to see how that goes. This was just announced a week or 2 ago, so I don't think the work has begun in diligence. If any of you are involved in this, I would love to talk to you because I'm just learning more about it, and we're definitely excited about this and want to make sure that we can support it in all the ways possible at the Chamber. But the cities all kind of cooperate, and it goes back to that data collection. They all kind of talk about what they've learned and how they've used that data and how they've approached the problems that they're having. And then all of the cities kind of combine that knowledge, and everybody comes up with best practices and elaboration to make sure that they come out with the smartest solutions possible and pass that on. So I think this year they're focusing on curb space, which is a rapidly advancing topic, as I'm sure you all know. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of solutions that they come up with that. And then Deborah is launching a smart campus urban autonomous vehicles pilot, I think in the spring or summer, probably summer, after she gets done with her Smart Communities Challenge. She's a busy woman. And this will be the first urban AV pilot of its kind, and it's really only possible because it'll be on the tech campus, which is private property, so that's nice. So this will be exciting to see how that goes and kind of see what lessons get learned during that, and she'll be doing C2B, vehicle to pedestrian, vehicle to infrastructure testing on all of that to see kind of how it goes and what we need to learn. So that'll be also tied to the AV pilot that's happening on the smart corridor, so that she'll be able to kind of plug in and lay on top of all of that data. And we're also working on getting the data from, for example, the weather company and all of their air quality data pulled in. So again, one of the things that the chamber does is more collaboration and try to get everybody to work together and support everyone together. So hopefully we'll get that pulled in as well. So these are just some examples of what we do as a city and as an organization to kind of help promote what's happening in Atlanta and kind of make sure that the world knows about what we're doing and how we're doing it, and kind of help evangelize what Atlanta's doing and evangelize the innovation that's happening here. And Georgia Tech is a huge, huge, huge part of why things are successful, and we're really, really thankful to have them and all the brains behind them in the city. So I want to open it up to questions, if anybody has any questions or comments that they might have. Yes?
Those reduction in accident figures, was that nationwide or is that the metro area?
Just the metro area within the area of the smart corridor. So very, very, very localized. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Did you say the autonomous vehicle test area is going to be Tech's campus?
I believe so. It will be on campus. I don't know what part. I think she's still trying to work that out, but yes, it will be on the Tech campus.
Is the the private-public partnership thing on the Beltline,
Yeah.
is that something that y'all are leading and like people within this group can learn more?
Yes,
Who
we
do they
would
contact?
love support. You can contact me to get more information about it. And again, like I literally had a call yesterday with Brian to confirm that the Beltline is open to partnering with us. So it's the perfect time to get involved. And this is also one of the projects. So when I say we have our executive committee, I also have an IoT Leadership Council that's part of Metro Atlanta Chamber. And within that Leadership Council have those 4 work groups that I went through. And those are the groups that really kind of help implement these projects. And this is the project on the Beltline is kind of our large 3 to 5 year initiative. And everything else like the conferences and things like that are more reactive. So you can see me if you want to help get involved. We are just beginning the planning process. We're meeting with our executive committee on May 2nd to let them know about, y'all even found out this about before they did, so don't say anything to them, to kind of finalize how each one of them wants to take part in it. And then we will be announcing it and launching it at our IoT Leadership Council meeting. Any of you are welcome, welcome, welcome to come to that. It is on May 7th at the Atlanta Metro Chamber from 8 to 9 a.m. It's a Monday morning, so it's not ideal timing, but we would love to have you. We're going to be launching this initiative there, taking volunteers and kind of divvying up the duties of who's going to be doing what. So we're looking for all kinds of things. We're looking for sensor partners. We're looking for data analytics companies that want to come in and help evaluate the data that we collect. We're looking for academic partners. We're looking for anyone who can kind of help come in and add some value to the project. So if you want to get involved, definitely see me. Oh, I've got my contact information on here. There we go. That's helpful because I forgot my cards. I only have 2 with me. So email me at this email address if you want to get involved. And once we have a plan, then we can definitely get you involved and see how you can help with everything. It's going to be exciting. I'm very, very thrilled that we're able to do it. That'll probably not launch until the fall, and I think that we're going to have our kickoff for that event during the Lantern Parade at the Beltline, which is in September. I think it's the 22nd, and then that'll kind of set in motion a whole stream of things. So hopefully we'll have a lot of the data set up and have a lot of more information by then. And then after September, then we're having the Industrial IoT Conference coming to Atlanta in October, I believe it is, which is going to be amazing. And in conjunction with that is the Smart City Summit and the IoT Blockchain Summit, which is going to be great. So that's going to be in November, and we're partnering with them to put that on. The Metro Atlanta Chamber is. And then after that, we're going to the Smart Cities World Congress Expo in Barcelona. And a lot of people in this room or their organizations went with us last year. We had a strong delegation of about 35 people that we were able to go and really talk about what Atlanta's doing and put our city on stage and put the Metro Atlanta on stage so that everyone kind of had a feel for what was happening. And you learn a lot there too as well. And then when we come back from that, we'll be leveraging all of this to move into the Super Bowl. We'll probably have some kind of immersive experience that will engage the Super Bowl participants and visitors that come and kind of lead them in a way, and how it has to be worked out, but the goal is to have an immersive experience that ties the Beltline in with the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and kind of leverage all that data and all the data that the people coming to town will have. Any other questions? All right, this has been great. Thank you so much for having me.